Okay, g'day, welcome into your first lesson on using Creo to reproduce these detailed drawings of all these parts of a coupling link. This is most likely your first lesson on Creo in grade 11. Okay, so the first thing is to study the drawing of these three parts. We can see there's a coupling, and there's two of those, there's a retaining clip, there's one of those, and there's two pins. And if we just scroll down a couple of slides, we'll see that those three parts then go together like so to create our coupling link, or another name for that might be a bike chain link. So let's turn our attention back to that first slide though, and let's take the easiest part to recreate first, which is going to be this actual coupling here. So we have our top view and our front view, and we can see that our front view has actually been sectioned. We have a number of important dimensions on our front view. We can see that the axes of these two holes here is 100 millimeters apart. We can see that the whole coupling is actually 6 millimeters in thickness. The top view gives us the information that the internal circle, or internal hole I should say, is 32. If it's not stated on the other side, it is then the same. And then the same with the external diameter here to the coupling is a diameter of 60. You'll see here that this diameter radius 75 has a broken chain line here, meaning that the center is not there, it's somewhere out in space, but it can't fit on the drawing. These little dashes here, they indicate that these curves are meeting at tangency, or point of tangency, which means this curve is touching this curve, but it's not cutting either of them. So with that in mind, we'll go across to Creo, and we'll probably start with the circles first, and I'll show a few techniques. So just remember 32, 60 and 100. So across to Creo, there's one that's already completed, so I'll just go File, New, Usual Story. Let's create a new part. We'll call this the coupling. Remember that there can be no spaces, so I'm just going to call this coupling 1. No spaces in the names, or the file will be not allowed basically. Let's hit OK, and OK again, and we're then presented with the work planes that we can start drawing on. If I hold my center mouse button down, I can then scroll it around. You'll also notice either down here in the bottom, or these objects, these toolbars might be up the top here, you have the ability to use some preset views. I'm just going to click on isometric, and also you'll see here that I've got my work planes turned on. Beside that, you've got axis lines and so on, but really the only thing we need to have turned on at the moment is your work planes. Okay, so let's choose the base work plane to draw this coupling on. So I'm going to choose the base, come up to sketch, turn this around to be 90 degrees, and the first thing I tend to do is to draw a circle at the intersection of the axes here, 1, move a distance approximately along, and as I bring this second circle out, you'll see the R symbol appears on both circles, meaning that if I now click, both circles are going to be of equal radius. I'll repeat that process for two circles larger than them to represent the 60 ones. And you can see there, if I bring it back a bit, there's the R. Notice that when I went out to there, that T came up, which was a tangency constraint. We don't want that tangency constraint, we want R for radius equals. Okay, so we've got the circles in. Let's hit our select button and let's adjust the sizes. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to manipulate a few of these dimensions, get them outside the drawing. And the outside one wanted to be 60, and enter. The internal one I think was 32, and enter. And the distance between needed to be 100. That's 100 between the centers. Now before you do anything else, it's very good practice to then lock those dimensions so that they cannot change. Sometimes you'll put something else in, and unless these dimensions are locked, this will change rather than the other object. So simply highlight the dimension, make it go red if I can, then hold your right mouse click down and choose the lock option. Do that for the three dimensions that we've placed in there so far. Lock and lock. They are now locked in position and they won't move. If we go back to our drawing, I said the last thing to do is to put in this radius of 75. So what we'll do, we'll draw ourselves a circle with a diameter of 150, because Creo works on diameter, and then we'll tangent that circle to the edge of this one and to the edge of this one here. So back to Creo. Zoom out a bit to give myself some space to draw. Go to my circle tool again, click somewhere in space up here, and as I drag a larger circle, it's very important that I don't accidentally snap it to something, like no tangency, or it doesn't join to any other sort of point. So about there would probably do. Go to Select Tool, make it the 150 in diameter, and then we're going to lock this 150 so it can't change diameter. But now we need to make these two curves tangent to each other. All the constraints for equals, parallel, and so on are all up here in this box for the constraints box. You'll see this icon here, it's got a circle with a line and a little mark beside it. That's our tangency tool. So we click onto that one. We're now in tangency mode. If I select this circle where I want it to be tangent, and I select this circle where I want it to be tangent, you'll see that it moves it to it and puts a T there to say that it's tangent. I'm still in tangency mode. I do the same thing over here, click once, click it twice, and we now have 2 points of tangency between the two. You could repeat that very same process down here, or a quicker way to create this on this side over here would be to put a center line through the center of our objects like so, and then select this circle, click on the mirror command, and then select the center line which you just put in, and it will mirror what you have selected about that center line. Okay, so we've got the basic geometry in. Now we just need to clean up all the parts that we don't want. So let's use our delete segment tool. Here it is here, and just go through all of the geometry that is no longer required. Might zoom in here a bit. Oh, there's a bit I missed. And just go around cleaning that up. So this inside here needs to go like so, like so. I think I'm right. So what now I'll do, I'll click on select again. It's shaded in. I've got no red dots to indicate that there's any open loops. Last thing to check is always up here to click on this icon, which is the overlapping geometry. If there was any lines overlapping each other, that would go purple, but there's nothing there. So it's all three closed loops of lines, which is correct. Click OK. We're now jumped out of the sketch mode. We're now into the extrude mode, or the modeling mode. Click on extrude, and our thickness I think was 6, and enter. Make sure it's on the solid. If it's defaulted to surface, that means you've got an issue with your sketch, but it looks good. Fabulous, and click green for go. Okay, so your coupling is now complete, and we'll be able to complete the next piece.